Hello there, good morning, and welcome to another daily ramble here at Claret and Booze. My name's John, aka Virgil of the Marshes. If you don't know who I am already, then why not? And if you don't know much about us, then please look at some of our previous shows on our Claret and Booze YouTube channel. And if you like, please hit the like button. Why not subscribe? And if you hit the bell notification, you'll be advised as and when any of our shows go live, get uploaded, or whatever the case may be. So if you don't know me, I'm the better looking, more intelligent one of a trio of three lads, just West Ham fans who have our say on all things West Ham. We don't profess to be experts. None of us are. We're just fans who have opinions. So hopefully you like what you see. Today's ramble is basically going to be me casting my eye over the West Ham Palace performance. I know it's a bit late, if you like, but I wasn't available for Sunday night's review show with Gary and Nick, as I had a little bit of an upset stomach. And I'm going to be talking about some possible ins and outs of players. So first things first, as you're watching this on Wednesday, the 9th of November, I thought I'd talk about a couple of Blackburn players. Now, to lighten the mood a little bit, I suppose. Obviously, West Ham are linked with all sorts of players, left, right and centre. And one player that we're continuously linked with, and yet again being linked with, is Ben Brereton Diaz. Blackburn Rovers player and also Chilean international, probably be playing against us tonight in the Carabao Cup. We've once again been linked with Brereton Diaz. Now, he had a fantastic season last season in the Championship, scoring 22 goals. Most of those were scored before Christmas. He actually had a bit of a barren spell later on. His contract is up in the summer. Obviously, we could try and go in and get him in January, but Blackburn Rovers manager John Dowd Thomason, ex-Newcastle player and Swedish international, has said that it's going to take a big fee for them to offload him in January. Obviously, Blackburn Rovers currently sitting second in the Championship. They'll want him until the end of the season, at the very least, to see if they can get that promotion to the Premier League that they wish and desire for, which was a little bit similar to last season when they were going great guns, but they fell away towards the end as a club. So Brereton Diaz being linked with West Ham again. According to reports in today's news, Manchester United are also sniffing around, but apparently West Ham United are in pole position to sign Brereton Diaz. And if you don't know much about Brereton Diaz, have a look at his back catalogue, have a look at him, how he became a Chilean international. It's a fantastic story. Basically, he was scouted by some Chilean fans via computer games, namely Football Manager. For me, he's 23, great prospect. Maybe we'll be sniffing around him in the summer. Depends who our manager will be, of course. Another player, Blackburn Rovers player, is this guy. Going by the name of Sammy Smodics. Now, interestingly, the reason I'm talking about this guy is that Sammy is a current West Ham season ticket holder. Sammy began his career with Colchester United, went on to play for Braintree, Bristol City, and now Peterborough, and now, Blackburn Rovers. He signed in the summer. Sammy is a West Ham fan. When he was at Peterborough, he was still able to get over to West Ham, especially on those European nights, which are always on a Thursday. So it worked well for him and his timescale at playing with Peterborough. Probably gets down less now to watch West Ham playing for Blackburn. But let's hope Sammy can do us a favour because, tomorrow is an important game. If we don't win tomorrow, then the pressure will be even more on David Moyes. So come on, Sammy. If you're a West Ham season ticket holder, mate, do us a favour. No, but with all due respect, best of luck to Sammy. Hopefully you don't win. So that's two Blackburn Rovers players. I'm going to talk about two West Ham players possibly coming and another getting a contract extension after I go into my little ramble, my little rant, if you like, about the West Ham Palace game and the situation that is David Moyes at the moment. Now, those of you that watch the show regular and those of you that comment on our live shows and have a little bit of banter with me will know that I have been pretty much Moyes in throughout the whole hysteria that surrounded the performances, especially this season. Now, Some will say I've jumped on the bandwagon. Some will say I've changed my tune. I have changed my tune. I think everybody realises that all fans have different sets of tolerance levels. Now, I've been a big advocate of Moyes throughout. I've been continuously deliberating with Nick and other fans, in so much as I've been somebody who has wanted to give him time. I agree that the football's been dire this season. I agree that, or have agreed that West Ham as a club, especially when we play teams like Palace, like Brighton, like Bournemouth, like the teams in and around us, if you like, we should be taking games to clubs, especially at home. Especially at home. Now, Palace for me on Sunday, it was the straw that broke the camel's back. Yes, we've seen it before. Yes, we've seen it all season. But for me, I've been just desperate for Moyes to change it up, desperate for Moyes to go to that plan B. And people have been telling me all season in my ear hole, Moyes don't have a plan B. Moyes can't change. Moyes can't adapt. But for me, I've been hoping that he could have. I was expecting a change, if you like, in the tactics. I was expecting a change in personnel to some extent. I was expecting a change from the square pegs in round holes scenario that people have been talking about. And to some extent, we've had that. To some extent, we have made those changes. Coufal's been bombed out of the team. Antonio's been, become second string striker to Scamacca. Paqueta, apart from when he was injured, has been getting in the team, obviously. But I think that the biggest problem for West Ham United at the minute, I don't like calling people out, but the main problem for West Ham United at the minute is the speed in which we're attacking, okay? The speed in which we're transitioning from defence into attack. And the cornerstone of that is going to be centre midfield. It's going to be the players that win the ball back. Now, look, I don't like calling people out, but Soucek is the main culprit. He's the main problem for West Ham United at the minute because, okay, he does block a lot of balls. Okay, he may run a lot of miles or kilometres during a game, and he's a blocker. But the modern day blocker is not just a blocker, specifically in the Premier League. His problem is he's so slow in getting the ball moving forward, and he's a massive problem for us. And indeed, David Moyes, because David Moyes and his almost blind loyalty to Soucek is actually crippling his own reputation, because Soucek doesn't do anything with the ball when he wins it or blocks it, apart from pass sideways and backwards. And I've been hoping week in, week out that Soucek would be totally taken away out of the team. And yes, we did see Downs come in. But Downs was coming in and playing in a position that was alien to him. Downs was coming in alongside or in the same team as Soucek. And that's where our problems have mainly been occurring. The distribution in the transitioning from defence into attack. We can blame Dawson. We can blame Fabianski. But when you have centre midfielders that are not calling, showing for the ball, and when they do get it, are very often than not just going backwards, it's ridiculous. The Premier League is one of the best leagues in the world, okay? It's one of the quickest leagues in the world. And we have become so cumbersome because the pivot that is the centre of our team, the centre midfield, is a problem. It's a massive problem. I've seen games where Dawson has been getting the ball in the centre-back position and he's been playing it into Paqueta. He's been playing it through the lines. Now, that's great. But the problem with that is that Dawson has no centre midfield to play through to, namely Thomas Soucek, because they play on the right side of the defence and the midfield, respectively. I've been hoping throughout the season that David Moyes would see that. And I'm baffled that he hasn't seen that. Yes, I'm not an expert. David Moyes technically is the expert, managing over 1,000 games and with all the qualification and badges that he's got. So why is he not taking Soucek out of the team to freshen things up at the very least. So therefore, I've slowly come to the conclusion that I do agree, and I don't like to say it, I do agree that I think it is now time for Moyes to go. I don't think it's going to happen this week. It's not going to happen before the Blackburn game. It's not going to happen before the Leicester City game. But I think it's got to happen, you know, during the World Cup break. It's got to happen so that a new manager can come in and get to know the team that he's got. Obviously, some will be missing. Paqueta, Rice, away with the with their national teams at the World Cup. But most of our squad will be here. And it pains me to say it. It really does. I don't know if I'd call myself Moyes out, but I'm not. I just think he has to go now. I think he has to go for his own good. I think if you see polls now, Gary ran a poll and he talks about it on his video. People who were on the fence are slowly but surely creeping over to the dark side, as people like to call it. I just think now that I think it's gone too far. You know, a lot of my opinions of Moyes changing or possible changing were maybe hope rather than expectation. Moyes has been fantastic for us over the last 2 years, okay? He's brought some fantastic memories that I've shared with my son, European nights, beating Manchester City, beating Liverpool, beating Manchester United, a run to a Europa League semi-final, which I've never seen in my lifetime, may not see again. But I do think we need someone in now. Who? I don't know. There's a lot of names being mentioned, obviously, but I don't know at the moment who we can get. So yes, I probably am now under the agreement that Moyes probably has to go sooner rather than later for his own benefit, his own reputation to some extent, and also because the fans this disenchantment is being voiced more vocally at games. Obviously, Soucek was booed off the weekend. Benny. The substitution of Benny was booed. You know, why did we allowed Palace to have that ball and we made them look like Manchester City? It was ridiculous. And I wasn't too well either. So I think that probably tipped me over the edge as well. The performance was poor, absolutely shocking. Just no speed of thought, no movement of the ball. It was almost bordering on embarrassing. You know, I spoke about Coufal earlier on in the video, but according to sources now, Bayer Leverkusen are interested in signing Coufal. There is an option for West Ham to extend Coufal's contract when it does expire, but apparently Bayer Leverkusen are allegedly flying over representatives to possibly negotiate a deal to take him out of West Ham sooner rather than later. Bayer Leverkusen are managed by Xavi Alonso and they need to strengthen their fullback positions, and they are looking at Coufal as a potential option. This guy, Aaron Cresswell, look, 32 years of age, 9 years at the club. He's actually been given a contract extension until the end of the 23-24 season. A lot of fans will be pissed off with that. I'm not. And I'm not, because I hope he's used in the right way. For whatever reason, Emerson, who we brought in to potentially take his place, it hasn't materialised yet. And I think a lot of people are annoyed by that. But as much as Cresswell's pace and things like that I don't think he's been that bad this season, actually. But obviously, he gets caught out a little bit, I suppose, to some extent. Coufal has been a problem. But you know, I am firmly now probably Moyes out. I'm just I don't like the division at the club, and you know there are some extremities of fan bases, left, right, and centre. But I just don't like the division. I am under the agreement now that we are playing piss poor football. I have been all season, if you listen to what I've said. You know, alongside Nick, I've said We need to be more forward thinking. We need to take the game to teams rather than sit back and wait. I agree. And Palace game for me was the last straw. So, you know. So tell me what you think. Sam Smodics, Blackburn player, West Ham fan, West Ham season ticket holder, in fact. Will he do us a favour tonight in the Carabao Cup? Ben Berrett Diaz, would you like him? 22 goals last season, already got 9 goals this season and 1 assist. Would he be a good signing? Should we wait until the summer when he's a free transfer? His name's cropped up again, and I'm sure it will crop up in the past. It will crop up in the future. Aaron Cresswell, contract extension to the end of the 23-24 season. What do you think about that? Does that show a lack of ambition? Vladimir Coufal, possibly going to Bayer Leverkusen. Would you wish him good luck? Or do you think we should keep him? I think I know the answer that most people will say. And David Moyes, yes, I'm under the agreement now that I think he probably has to go. As much as my love over what he's done for us in Europe specifically, and some of the games we've won brought me some great memories, I do think it's time for him to go. So, again, if you like the show today, please give it a like. Why not subscribe? Claret and Booze. Hit the bell notification. Whatever happens, the club will always remain, and the fan base need to get unified if and when a new manager comes in. So, thanks for watching. Why not do all of what I've said? And if you like what you've seen, come back and see some more. My name's John, aka Virgil. Come on, you Irons.